Okay, this is 1347 Exposition Boulevard, and this is where Dr. Ochsner lived. As you can see, he has primo real estate in New Orleans. Looks out over Audubon Park, and it's on this gorgeous little walkway. Right around the corner will be the infectious disease lab, which he's overseeing. Dr. Mary Sherman there. She roasts the cancer soup with the linear particle accelerator. That's sort of the epicenter of the whole cancer research or the bioweapon research program. Not too far up Magazine, which Magazine's back that way, is where Oswald lives. Right around the corner on Marengo is where Judith Ferry lives. Not around, too far from there is where Dr. Mary Sherman lives. Not too far from there is Louisiana Avenue, where David Ferry has two houses, lab number 1, lab number 2. It's all in this same locale. And of course, there's Audubon Park. Ironically, this doctor, who was heavily invested in the polio vaccine, so much so, the Salk vaccine, that when it started killing people, it gave them polio because it was injected and the vaccine was too strong. They had to jerk it from the market. He had invested money in this vaccine. He didn't want to see it fail, so he trotted his 2 grandchildren out down at the Ochsner Clinic, which I'll show you that as well, to have a big press conference and show the world that the Salk vaccine worked. So he injected his granddaughter and his grandson, and within 2 days his son was dead and his granddaughter had a severe case of polio. This is that doctor, and he put at risk his own family members. Now he's working on a bioweapon project for the CIA to kill people in 28 days. The irony is, right down there in Audubon Park is the famous Tree of Life. We're gonna do a little short video in front of the Tree of Life. It's one of those giant Texas live oaks, one of the oldest in the nation. It's an enormous tree, and it's cool as hell to see how it's grown and everything. It's called the Tree of Life, and this is where this doctor, who's responsible for the death of his own grandson and paralysis of his granddaughter, and the creation of a bioweapon for the CIA to assassinate people, this is where he lives. So rich irony there. But this guy, he was known as the bully of the bullpen. He was on staff as a professor at Tulane University right here in town, and he trained surgeons, future surgeons, in this bullpen. That's what he called it. And his favorite means of training was to scream at his surgeons while they were performing their surgery to try to replicate the pressure that they would be under, and he was just relentless. After the bioweapon project was over, Dr. Ochsner shut it down basically, and Judith, who had discovered through the human test what they were actually up to, wrote him a letter. And she objected. She said doctors are supposed to save life, not kill people. And she had, a crisis of conscience, and Dr. Ochsner was furious. He had lured her here, promising her a full scholarship to go to Tulane Medical School. He jerked the scholarship, and he banished her and said, if you ever try to work in medicine again, I'll have you blackballed. And essentially, that's what happened to her. Judith Ferry, who was on the way to becoming a cancer researcher, was far ahead of her time, was past all the million-dollar researchers that were doing all this work. She was doing work beyond even them, and she was just a kid, and he ruined her life, basically. To this day, she's still alive. You can see her on YouTube. She lives on 30-day visas in European countries, trying to stay one step ahead of the posse. She's paranoid. She believes they're still trying to kill her. At the end of all this, she was basically told by David Ferry, once Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested in Dallas, you better get out of Dodge. Go, never speak of what you did in New Orleans that summer. Never try to practice medicine. Don't seek publicity. Get married, have kids, and be a domestic person. And that's essentially what she did for 40 years. She did not go public with her story. It went public on her. There was a series in 1988, 89, 90 called The Men Who Killed Kennedy. One of the episodes by Nigel Turner dealt with Lee Harvey Oswald and his love interest here in New Orleans. And through researching that project, they found out who she was, where she was, and they confronted her. And eventually she had to go public with the story because it was going public on her. And she has been crucified by everyone who's trying to protect the conspiracy ever since. And you ought to pull her up on YouTube sometime, and she's hard to listen to. She's a difficult person. She's had a hellish life. She lost her family over this. She lost her husband over this. All of this happened when she was 18, 19 years old, too young to really know any better. Got caught up in an adult world, recruited into a project because she had an expertise in something, but she didn't have any credentials. And then when it was over, they threw her under the bus. She was expendable, and she's lucky she's still alive. Anyway, this guy is responsible for all that. And this is where he lived. And of course, he lived out, they've got a hospital in town named after him. There's streets named after him. He's still known as this famous cancer researcher. This is what happens when you play on the right side of the intelligence community in our country, or if you're on the right side of history, so to speak. You get rewarded. You get streets named after you, hospitals named after you, big beautiful homes on the edge of Audubon Park. And the people that are the whistleblowers, the people that have the pangs of consciousness, the crisis of consciousness, and feel like what we're doing isn't right, call attention to it, they're the ones who get punished. So that's the story of Judith Very versus Dr. Ochsner. You can see what he lived in, and she lost everything. So our next stop is going to be around the corner. We're going to go to the infectious disease lab. I want to show you where Dr. Mary Sherman did all her work with the linear particle accelerator. I'll show you the building with all the wiring on it that made it possible, and of course the walls that kept people away so they wouldn't investigate what was going on behind those walls. We'll also show you the tree of life when we get to that. On to the